let's get to the news of the day. Obviously, when we find out what Tank Davis makes officially, we'll get back to you on that one. But guys, the rematch is official. Gary, are you surprised that we have it? Wilder Fury 2. It's signed, sealed, delivered. It seems. Every side is announcing it. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. UK time. It's going to be at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. You can get it either through your TV or, through Fox pay-per-view, or if you're an ESPN Plus subscriber, allegedly you can get it for a cheaper price through them, a la their UFC pay-per-views. And just a little bit of note, Mike Coppinger saying sources Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury 2 will be an ESPN production using that broadcast team. Agreement calls for any future ESPN Fox pay-per-view collaboration, Wilder Fury 3, to be a Fox production. Fight will be promoted on both networks with shoulder programming commercials, etc. He did sort of walk this back a little bit. I think he later posted that you could see some of the Fox commentators or analysts show up in some capacity on the telecast, but that's up to ESPN's discretion, I believe. So Gary, thoughts on obviously Wilder Fury 2 being announced? It's official, MGM Grand Garden Arena, February 22nd. And the fact that we're going to get sort of the ESPN, it's going to be co-promote or co-network, but ESPN is going to take kind of the lion's share of the live production, it seems. Thoughts on all of this and the potential, obviously, trilogy fight with Fox coming in and being the predominant broadcaster?
Again, I largely don't care who the broadcaster is as long as we're getting the fight. You know what I'm saying?
I want to add to that. They both kind of suck too. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. No, they both do.
If this was Showtime or ESPN, it would be a discussion we had. Like if it's ESPN's commentary team instead of Showtime's commentary team, I'd be like, whoa, hold up here. We got to change that up here. We can't have Tessitore and Tim Bradley call this fight. Let's get Paulie, let's get Bernstein, let's get Morrow, let's get them back in here. But it's Goosen and Lennox and Ray Mancini versus Tessitore, Tim Bradley, Andre Ward. I'll take Andre Ward.
That's what they should put Ward. I like Ward.
I'm okay for it.
Too. As a broadcaster.
You like who?
Paulie.
Yeah, I like Paulie as a broadcaster, yes.
They should have those two guys together with a punch by punch guy, right? So they should pick one. And I would pick Tessitore up the two. Those are my two options. I'm taking Tessitore with Ward and Paulie, and that's your team, and that's a good team. And the way, I don't think you could find two more opposite people between Paulie Malignaggi and Andre Ward. Having that in the booth, I think would be really interesting. Because Ward's kind of straightforward, he plain and simple, and then Paulie is a maniac.
Yeah,
so
bombastic.
Yeah. Sure. I think that contrast would be really interesting to have. It could be awful. They could end up screaming at each other the whole time. Well, not that Ward would scream at him, but Ward would just dismiss them. It would be a fun contrast to see. I think that I don't know what their plans are or how cemented their plans are, but just an idea. Tessitore, or you know what, go out and get a good a good punch by punch guy and have him teamed up with Ward and look, you're spending a lot of money on boxing, both Fox and ESPN. Mm-hmm. Why not do it right? Right? Monday Night Football is an expensive sports broadcast. They put their best foot forward, right? Why not try that in boxing? You put a lot of money into it. This is your big event. You're not gonna have a bigger event, period, unless Floyd Mayweather comes back, right? If you're Fox, you're not gonna have a bigger event if you're ESPN, period.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't why wouldn't you do this? Right? Put your best foot forward and don't give us a telecast that largely sucks.
No, I Gary, trust me, I agree wholeheartedly. Okay. And also a lot of people in the chat saying that a Ward Lewis combination would be something that they like. Do people really like Lewis over Goosen? I like Goosen over Lewis, to be honest. I think Lewis, he's rough, in my opinion, man. That Charlo Harrison, maybe it's just recency bias. That last card he was on, Lewis was rough, guys. Let's be honest about it, okay? But apparently a lot of people want to see Ward and Lennox Lewis together. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I would be okay with that pairing, I guess. And a lot of people agree with you that Tessitore, you put Tessitore in there.
I'm not. That's not a ringing endorsement of Tessitore by any means. I'm just saying he's better
Well,
than
who's who would be the Fox comparison? I'm trying to remember who's even.
Albert. It's one of the Albert boys.
Oh, that fucker! No, no,
Uh,
God,
Kenny,
no.
is it Al or Kenny? It's Kenny Albert, right? I don't know. It's one of the
It,
Alberts.
it depends because doesn't Brian Kenny do some of the Fox shows too?
I'm still taking Tessitore, and I like Brian Kenny to a degree.
I
I'm familiar with him. I'm still taking Tessitore over Kenny.
Tessitore has such an ESPN bias though; it's so nauseating. Brian Kenny at least is like a little more objective on the DAZN telecast. I'll give him that credit. When he's on DAZN telecast, he's not as biased as Sergio Mora. So, but I like that everyone in the chat is in unison. We all don't want Timothy Bradley on the telecast. I like that we're all can agree as a boxing community that Timothy Bradley not a good commentator, not that great.
Speaking of company guy, that guy toes the company line. That he is.
So
And I was a huge Bradley fan. He's one of my favorite fighters. Like watching Bradley to me was like watching a mini Evander Holyfield. Like that guy had all dog in him. But when he came out and said that Deontay Wilder is the only PBC fighter he respects, and he's the only one. Well, like, okay, dude, do you know what I'm talking about, Matt?
Oh, I know.
Okay,
Oh, I know. Yes,
just
yeah. He's nauseating to me. Like
well, you were a Bradley fan though, right? As a fighter.
yeah. I mean, I think everyone was. I mean, let's be honest here. Like even like Mayweather stands. Like you had a respect for Bradley, and that's kind of one of those fantasy fights you always wanted to see happen. That was cross network that just never could be made. No, I like Bradley. And I thought Bradley got so much hate from the Pacquiao fights, which wasn't his fault.
Nor was it really a bad decision either, by the way.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a bad decision, especially in retrospect. We've had worse since then, guys. Come on.
Like the one we're talking about, like Wild the Fury 1.
No, I wouldn't agree with that, but all right, there, Gary. Let's not go that far here. But like after the Marquez fight, I mean, how can you not be won over as a Timothy Bradley fan after that? He just tailed off insanely. I mean, obviously you had the Provodnikov fight of the year, but like to me, that wasn't the fight that made Bradley something to me. Even though it did for a lot of casuals, and I'm not casuals is probably a derogatory term to use, but for a lot of people, that blood and guts nature of that fight, it won over a lot of people post the Pacquiao fight. But for me, watching Marquez post when Marquez knocked out Pacquiao, chef's kiss. I know it wasn't the biggest fight, it wasn't the most exciting, but that was a good fight. But digressing from that, let's get back to Wilder Fury for a second. A little bit in terms of the promotion of this, per Steve Kim of ESPN, don't expect a press conference for the February 22nd rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Bob Arum told ESPN, quote, "We're doing something unusual tomorrow. Wilder will be in Atlanta for the first game of the college football playoffs, and Fury will be in Arizona for the second game. We're going to be using all of those games to do the announcement. We're not going to be doing any press tour. Those games featuring LSU, Oklahoma, and Clemson, Ohio State will be televised on ESPN by ESPN on Saturday." Kevin Ollie, though, has come out and said Wilder apparently couldn't make it to Atlanta, so he won't be at the Peach Bowl now. But overall, Gary, thoughts on the lack of press conferences, lack of press tour, them trying to use college football as sort of the platform to promote this announcement more than anything. Thoughts on that?
I know it's gonna seem different, but I remember Errol Spence having an announcement for the Mikey Garcia fight at the Cowboys game the Thanksgiving before. That fight did well. Much better than a lot of people expected, both in ticket sales and in pay-per-view buys.
Yep.
I know it's unconventional, but I don't think it's a bad idea. You're putting it in front of the sports audience. Those college football games are going to have a massive rating. I think putting Deontay Wilder in Atlanta would have really helped. Unfortunately, he's not going to be there in person, so that doesn't help. But I don't think it's bad. I think you're putting out big heavyweights, larger than life heavyweights, in front of the casual audience, and I think that's going to play well. I think there's always going to be a thirst from the casual fan, the sports fan, for heavyweight boxing, especially heavyweight boxing with big, massive guys who knock you out. and that's what you have, especially with Wilder. So I don't. And you got two guys who have fun personalities, two people who are playful, two people who are largely liked, right? So I think everything. I think it's a good move, honestly. And I'm guessing you don't, Matt.
No, I'm not okay with like the and or discussion. Like this is fucking Fox and ESPN. You have the fucking budget, and again, I think they kind of waited a little bit too long to announce this. They should have announced it before Christmas, in my opinion. I know that's not the usual thing to do. You wait till after the holidays, but because of that, you have a small window to promote this fight. You only have 8 weeks for these guys to train for this. You don't have a lot of time to promote this fight. I get it, but you have a fucking press tour. Even if it's just a 2-city press tour, to 3-city, whatever it is, you must have an announcement press conference that is live streamed, that is telecast on ESPN, on Fox. You have to do that. And do this. That would be my argument. Like if I'm Heyman, if I'm Bob Arum, if I'm anyone that has some control in this conversation, I am pushing for that still. Like we need an announcement press conference. We need these guys together. We need that face off. Like you need those moments. And to not have that, and to have like Fury do his own thing across the world in Arizona, even though it's gonna be seen by a lot of people, and Wilder obviously not anymore, but originally supposed to be in Atlanta doing his own thing. To me, that's a disconnected promotion. They need to be together, and then you put them through the fucking car wash, both on ESPN and on regular TV, like Good Morning America, radio, do Breakfast Club, all that stuff. But be together. The dynamic between these guys is what's amazing, to be honest. Like, if you look at like the greatest promotional tours in combat sports history, they have been together the whole time. Mayweather, McGregor, Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Mayweather, Canelo. Like they toured everywhere together. Okay, McGregor, Aldo. I mean, guys, go. I know for boxing heads, they may not understand this, but go look up like Aldo McGregor promo tour stuff and look at just all the media they did outside of the press conference together. Brazilian morning shows, American morning shows, Irish morning shows, all together seated next to each other. Why? To build that tension, to tell the story. So I don't think it's a bad move. I think it's smart. I think to have sports that reach tens of millions of people, you need to use that. Like that's a big giant commercial for you. Use it. That makes 110% sense. I just don't think that it makes sense to have this and or issue where it's like, oh, we're not gonna get press conferences, but we're gonna get this thing. It's like both. Both could be better. And to get that 2 million pay-per-view buys that Arum's out there asking for, you kind of need to do that.
And I would chill on the 2 million pay-per-view buys if I was Bob Arum. Just I don't know what his real expectations are, but I hope it's not that. Second, I agree with Matt. There still has to be some kind of tour with these guys, a 4-city tour announcing. I guess it wouldn't be announcing the fight, but something to put these two guys in the room together. L.A., Vegas, New York, London, right? Put them in all 4 cities. It's that kind of fight. I mean, Matt said a 2 or 3 cities. So we just did New York and L.A. or New York and Vegas. That's not enough, right? Like this is a big deal, right? Like Broner and Pacquiao did 3 cities. Like this is a big fight. This is the biggest fight ESPN's going to have in the foreseeable future, and possibly the biggest by Fox too. So treat it like that. I know ESPN has a million other ways to make money in sports. I get that, right? But like you're investing a lot of money into this. How much money are you giving Fury? Like this should be a big deal to you. So treat it like one. Do a 4-city tour, put them face to face, and I know you have your sights set on 2 million. I hope they realize that that's not really going to happen. If you do half that or a third of that, you should be very happy. You should be through the roof if you do a third of that, right? Well 700,000. That would be a
Sure.
third.
It'd be like it'd be 600 something.
667,000.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But digressing from that, I know I agree with you, 100%. This fight should have been announced the week after Wilder's fight with Ortiz, and they should have done the press tour immediately, right then and there, before the holidays. That's what I would have done. And they kind of In this age, I think a lot of promoters and networks shorten themselves up by doing this. Canelo does it all the time now too. Canelo Kovalev, I think, was hurt by the very narrow window they had to promote the fight, and it shows that the traffic for Canelo Kovalev was less than Canelo Jacobs. Why? Because Canelo Jacobs had a tour. It had much more time to promote itself. Uh, Having 7-8 weeks maximum to announce and promote a fight is not enough. It's just not, guys. Think about like a movie or a TV show. It has like a year or 2 years of build up and hype, right? You have the development stage. You have the production stage. You have the post production stage, and then you have all the junkets and the media tour, and then you have the premiere, and then you have all that stuff. That's a year, 2 year process to promote a movie or a TV show. Promoters in boxing think, oh, we can just put this thing out here in a few weeks and it's fine. No, that's not smart. Same with the Fox pay-per-views. Like I have a big issue with them thinking that all we need is a hard month of promoting. No. There's a reason you guys are stuck at that like 300,000 number because of that. It's only a month of promoting. That's not enough.
They have to weigh their game, right? So if I put 3 months in and I only get 500,000 viewers, 500,000 purchasers, that wasn't worth the extra 2 months of. Well, I don't know what their break even point would be, but I'm just using hypothetical numbers.
I think it's so easy and cheap to promote boxers nowadays, especially with PBC. First off, you're already tied into the hip hop community. I mean, Sway, Breakfast Club, Drink Champs, Joe Budden's podcast. I mean, go down the list of media options, Everyday Struggle. Like, you can literally go on a who's who of outlets that are towards your demographic that your athletes would just, I think, flourish on. They don't use it. And we know Heyman has music connections, so use them. Use those connections. Not that hard. And plus, music, like and artists overall, love athletes. Vice versa. Use that. Like you're a music guy, Heyman. Like this should be a really like easy promotional step for you as a company to use like music and hip hop podcasts and shows as a catalyst and a promotional arm for your fights. Put them on Jesus and Miro. Put them on all that stuff. Like how isn't guys like Wilder, Spence, Thurman, even guys like Caleb Plant, even because that guy has some style. You know, all these guys, Javante Davis, even put through the mill on Jesus and Muro on Showtime, Breakfast Club, Sway in the Morning. Again, Complex, Everyday Struggle. Like, there's a lot of different outlets that these guys can promote on. That's, in my opinion, cheap, and they're all in one city. You can do that all in New York in 2 days. You know what I mean? So I think promoters are lazy. This goes back to our discussion weeks ago, Gary. Promotions and PBC, even though it's not promotion, I'm including them in here. They're lazy at times. They just go to the simple 1 + 1 = 2 promotional tactics instead of really forcing something down the casual audience's throat, which you have to do. But digressing from that, one last little aspect of the Wilder Fury announcement, and then we're going to get to the Joshua Ruiz pay-per-view numbers, and it's sort of a co-topic because it's all on one tweet. Mike Coppinger saying, sources, the Wilder Fury 2 U.S. pay-per-view is settled. ESPN Fox joint pay-per-view with ESPN producing. But the UK pay-per-view home remains undecided. Both BT and Sky Sports are believed to be pursuing the rights. We're going to get to that last sentence in that tweet after. But, Gary, thoughts on Sky and BT bidding for Wilder Fury 2 for UK pay-per-view rights? Who do you think is going to win out? Do you think it's going to be a tough bid? I mean, obviously BT with the Fury and Frank Warren connection. Do you see them losing it to Sky and Sky being the pay-per-view or box office network, so to speak, that just did Wilder Ortiz 2? So
I believe that BT doesn't have any guaranteed rights to Fury's fights. I can't believe they had to go bid like everyone else.
I'm not surprised.
That being the case, I don't know how it works over there.
Fury got an ESPN deal, not a BT Sports deal.
there wasn't any kind of package. So it was strictly. Oh, obviously, it
Well,
was
there's
strict.
there's there's no literal connection between BT Sports and ESPN. There's a working relationship between them constantly, but it's not like they're conglomerate. They're under the same conglomerate. That's just not the case.
Um, BT has more of an interest in the fight, so would they be willing to break the bank more? My other side would say Sky Sports has a lot more money than BT Sport, right? So if Sky Sports really wants it, they could outbid them, could they not?
Wait, sorry, repeat that.
Sky Sport, Sky Sports has a lot more money than
Yes,
BT Sport. So if Sky Sports really wanted, they could simply outbid BT. Is that is that fair? I mean,
I would say that. I would say yes. I mean, I wish Rob was on the show to give his opinion on this, but I would say yes. I mean, Sky seems to be the bigger machine than BT Sport, but BT has a relationship with Frank Warren. So I would see that they would potentially go harder for this bid in this fight than Sky Sports, who might back off on it. They might bid on it to make BT spend a bunch of money on it, but I don't see Sky going after it to the same degree that BT will. Maybe I'm wrong about that. And potential lunatic in the chat saying BT has as much money as Sky, so they're equal.
then I would think BT is going to get it. If they had, if all things are equal, BT has more to lose by not getting it. So I would say BT is going to do what they need to do to get it. And again, that also depends on like how do they just send in their offers and then they have to accept one and reject one, or do they, is it like I don't know how that works,
I don't
right?
know.
Like
I don't know how the mechanics of the bidding process is. I mean, each bidding process is probably a little bit different, right? Or there's
right.
different styles of bidding process for these sort of network deals overseas. But um, I would assume you have like you maybe have like first bids and maybe you get like a secondary bid, but maybe not. It would be speculation on this part on my part at this point. I think BT is going to keep it though. I just see it. The last Wilder Fury fight was BT. Sky just had Wilder Fury 2, and Wilder Ortiz 2. I can see them letting go of Wilder for one or two fights. It's not a big deal to them. It's not a huge aspect of their overseas venture, so to speak.
No, so your gut says that BT is going to carry it over there. Yeah,
Yeah,
mine too.
yeah. I think that relationship with Frank Warren is going to carry over. It's just funny, like you said, that there's no contractual obligation from
Yep.
Fury to be on BT Sport box office. Like that is surprising because I don't think that was the case for the first fight. Like I don't remember there being a bidding process between Sky and BT for Wilder Fury 1. Maybe I
I don't
forget it.
remember anything like that either. I really
I don't know. But digress from that.